Out of my own car.
Get out of the car!
And then you
I will light you up. Get out!
Wow.
So I finally got a chance to watch the full Sandra Bland traffic stop arrest video, and I'm only going to talk about the arrest portion because I'm kind of iffy on whether I believe she actually committed suicide or not. But regardless of the cause of her death, she should not have been in the jail cell in the first place. I saw a lot of people on Twitter arguing that she was suicidal and her life would have came to an end anyway, which is a super shitty and fucked up argument to even make. But the point is, she should not have died in police custody because she should have never been in police custody. And that's all I'm going to talk about on that portion of the topic for now. Now what I want to talk about is this question that has been floating around, and that is, what would you do if you were in this situation? What would you do if you were put in a situation where you felt that you were being harassed or unlawfully given orders or assaulted by the police? I think about it every time I pass an officer on the street or if I'm driving in my car, and I've actually been pulled over by the police before for reasons that I believe, my parents believe, and my lawyer also believes were racial profiling, but we're not even going to get into that topic now. But before I share my response of what I would do or what I think you should do, I'm going to share the responses of those who follow me on social media who answered this question. And I'm only reading answers from Instagram, by the way. Entree1 said, she acted reasonably. No change on my part. Killed the notion that blacks are to be submissive to white authority. Killed the notion that we ought to be complicit. I think he meant complacent. Or cordial in the face of our continued oppression. Curly Chrissy said, did what he said. These officers are looking for a reason and I won't be giving them one. The main goal is to stay alive. Aaron J. Miller, who goes to my school by the way, said, ideally what she did was completely within her rights and I wish I could have been as courageously uncouth as her, but I like my life outside of jail, so in reality I would have put on and put out the cigarette to keep it moving, but I don't think any of it even mattered. And Hitstick20 said, I think she was aggressive in her tone and non-responsive to the officer. If she would have followed the simple directions, she would have never been at risk of their brutality. When you're aggressive towards someone, usually they respond with aggression. She didn't deserve to be handled in such a physical manner though. Yeah. So as you can see, people are pretty split on what is right, what is wrong, what should have been done, what should not have been done, and what they would do if they were in that situation. Now before I share what I believe I would have done in that situation, I just want to respond to those who say she shouldn't have gotten an attitude or cussed at him. What is your logic behind this, other than the fact that you don't want to anger someone who could end your life? Like, is that the only reason you're showing them respect, is out of fear for your life? Because that's not even respect. I have yet to see why calling an officer a pig or a pussy or an asshole, which Sandra did after she was being forced out of her vehicle, I might add, should in any way stop an officer from doing his job properly and lawfully. Like, I don't see that in any other way. Assaulting an officer is one thing, which I'm not saying she did or didn't do, but you're an officer of the law and a grown-ass man. Why are you tripping about someone calling you a name? Especially considering the fact that a large portion of your job is to give people tickets, which nobody is going to be happy about. And then as he's writing her a ticket, he's asking her, oh, you seem to have an attitude, what's wrong? And people want to say that if she would have complied, none of this would have happened. Well, I'm going to say if he wasn't so busy trying to make small talk and would have hurried up and wrote her the damn ticket, they both would have been on their way. And when becoming an officer, you can't possibly have been that naive into thinking that you were going to get a positive reaction from every person you came across, whether you were being an asshole or not. I mean, real talk, it's damn near part of your job description. Your paperwork probably said, enforce the law, protect the people, be prepared to be called a series of names. It's just something you're gonna have to deal with. It's like being a stripper. Strippers are well aware that they're gonna be called a hoe or slut or whatever, but is that stopping them from doing their job and getting their paper? No. You are an officer and you are not in a position where you can be making decisions based off of ego and emotion. There's no way you went into this job thinking it was going to be all daisies and unicorns. But I just want to point out that just because an officer says I'm lawfully requesting you to do this or that doesn't automatically mean that it's lawful. Not doing something or not sharing bits of information that you are well within your right to not share is not the same as being uncooperative. That is the importance of knowing your rights, because sharing information that you don't have to share can and most likely will be used against you. But again, knowing your rights doesn't automatically mean that you're going to be protected. Now, in response to those who said they would have been cooperative or would have just done what they were told, I completely understand what you're saying, especially considering the fact that it is your life that is at stake. But when we allow officers to treat us any old type of way, especially when that type of way is illegal and in many cases immoral, you're telling them that it is okay for them to treat us like this. You're encouraging them to continue to treat us like this. It's like when you get away with lying or cheating or stealing. If you get away with it, the chances of you doing it again just go way up. So again, I'm not going to come down on you on your choice to comply or be submissive, because again, this is your life. But I just want you to realize that every time you make that choice to comply or be submissive to this type of unnecessarily aggressive and illegal behavior, you're making it that much more difficult for the next person who will be like Sandra, who will not be submissive. But one thing we cannot ignore is the psychological side of dealing with the police, especially as a person of color. I feel like when you haven't been in that position, it's so easy to say, oh, I would have done this, or I wouldn't have been this, or I would have been militant and all of this stuff. But when you're actually standing face to face with someone who can end your life, and there's the strong possibility that they won't face any consequences, it's very intimidating and it's very difficult to stand your ground. So in the end, what would I have done? I would probably be dead or in jail, to be completely honest with you.